Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
A person who performs voluntary work. Agree freely. She volunteered to drive the old lady home. Without payment. A volunteer fire department. Military. A person who freely enlists for service. A native or resident of Tennessee. Do volunteer work. Tell voluntarily. He volunteered the information. A person who performs voluntary work. Propose a payment. The Swiss dealer offered $2 million for the painting. Offer verbally. He offered his sympathy. Agree freely. I offered to help with the dishes, but the hostess would not hear of it. Ask someone to marry you. A usually brief attempt. Mount or put up. Offer resistance. Something offered, as a proposal or bid. Noteworthy new offerings for investors included several index funds. The verbal act of offering. A generous offer of assistance. Make available, provide. The bank offers a good deal on new mortgages. Present as an act of worship. Offer prayers to the gods. Present for acceptance or rejection. She offered us all a cold drink. Make available for sale. The stores are offering specials on sweaters this week. Make available or accessible, provide or furnish. The conference center offers a health spa. Produce or introduce on the stage. The Shakespeare Company is offering King Lear this month. Put forward for consideration. He offered his opinion. Threatened to do something. I offered to leave the committee if they did not accept my proposal. Without payment. The soup kitchen was run primarily by unpaid helpers. Engaged in as a pastime. Unpaid extras in the documentary. Not paid. Unpaid wages. Military. A person who freely enlists for service. Military. A person who freely enlists for service. Composition, often improvised, for a solo instrument, especially solo organ, and not a regular part of a religious service or musical performance. Controlled by individual volition. Voluntary motions. Of your own free will or design, done by choice, not forced or compelled. Man as a voluntary agent. A native or resident of Tennessee. A member of the working class, not necessarily employed. Workers of the world, unite. A person who acts and gets things done. He's a miracle worker. A person who works at a specific occupation. He is a good worker. Sterile member of a colony of social insects that forages for food and cares for the larva. Pretend to have certain qualities or state of mind. He acted the idiot. Behave unnaturally or affectedly. She's just acting. Something that people do or cause to happen. A legal document codifying the result of deliberations of a committee or society or legislative body. Perform an action, or work out or perform an action. Think before you act. A short performance that is part of a longer program. He did his act 3 times every evening. Perform on a stage or theater. She acts in this play. Have an effect or outcome, often the one desired or expected. How does your idea work in practice? Behave in a certain manner. Show a certain behavior, conduct or comport oneself. You should act like an adult. Play a role or part. She wants to act Lady Macbeth, but she is too young for the role. A manifestation of insincerity. He put on quite an act for her benefit. A subdivision of a play or opera or ballet. Be engaged in an activity, often for no particular purpose other than pleasure. Be suitable for theatrical performance. This scene acts well. Discharge one's duties. She acts as the chair. Give an incentive for action. This moved me to sacrifice my career. Be in a state of action. Change location. Move, travel, or proceed, also metaphorically. The soldiers moved towards the city in an attempt to take it before night fell. The act of changing location from one place to another. The movement of people from the farms to the cities. Cause to move or shift into a new position or place, both in a concrete and in an abstract sense. The director moved more responsibilities onto his new assistant. Perform an action, or work out or perform an action. We must move quickly. The act of changing your residence or place of business. They say that 3 moves equal 1 fire. Have a turn. Make one's move in a game. Have an emotional or cognitive impact upon. Follow a procedure or take a course. A change of position that does not entail a change of location. Movement as a sign of life. Progress by being changed. Propose formally, in a debate or parliamentary meeting. Arouse sympathy or compassion in. Her fate moved us all. Change residence, affiliation, or place of employment. We moved from Idaho to Nebraska. Dispose of by selling. The chairman of the company told the salesman to move the computers. Game. A player's turn to take some action permitted by the rules of the game. Go or proceed from one point to another. The debate moved from family values to the economy. Live one's life in a specified environment. She moves in certain circles only. Move so as to change position, perform a non-translational motion. He moved his hand slightly to the right. The act of deciding to do something. He didn't make a move to help. Someone who serves in the armed forces, a member of a military force. Someone who serves in the armed forces, a member of a military force. An adult person who is male, as opposed to a woman. A manservant who acts as a personal attendant to his employer. Jeeves was Bertie Wooster's man. One of the British Isles in the Irish Sea. Any living or extinct member of the family Hominidae characterized by superior intelligence, articulate speech, and erect carriage. All of the living human inhabitants of the earth. She always used humankind, because mankind seemed to slight the women. Game equipment consisting of an object used in playing certain board games. A male person who plays a significant role, husband or lover or boyfriend, in the life of a particular woman. She takes good care of her man. A male subordinate. He awaited word from his man in Havana. An adult male person who has a manly character, virile and courageous, competent. The army will make a man of you. Provide with workers. We cannot man all the desks. Take charge of a certain job. Occupy a certain workplace. Mr. Smith manned the reception desk in the morning. The generic use of the word to refer to any human being. It was every man for himself. Someone who serves in the armed forces, a member of a military force. Someone who serves in the armed forces, a member of a military force. Soldiers collectively. The English language as used in the United States. A native or inhabitant of a North American or Central American or South American country. A native or inhabitant of the United States. Of or relating to the United States of America or its people or language or culture. Of or relating to or characteristic of the continents and islands of the Americas. Make uniform. Work the clay until it is soft. Perform as expected when applied. This old radio doesn't work anymore. Be employed. Is your husband working again? Applying the mind to learning and understanding a subject, especially by reading. Mastering a second language requires a lot of work. Have and exert influence or effect. The artist's work influenced the young painter. Make something, usually for a specific function. Cause to happen or to occur as a consequence. I cannot work a miracle. The occupation for which you are paid. A lot of people are out of work. Cause to work. He is working his servants hard. Find the solution to a problem or question, or understand the meaning of. This unpleasant situation isn't going to work itself out. A product produced or accomplished through the effort or activity or agency of a person or thing. It is not regarded as one of his more memorable works. Have an effect or outcome, often the one desired or expected. The voting process doesn't work as well as people thought. Use or manipulate to one's advantage. She knows how to work the system. Proceed along a path. Work one's way through the crowd. Prepare for crops. Shape, form, or improve a material. Work stone into tools. A place where work is done. He arrived at work early today. Cause to undergo fermentation. The vintner worked the wine in big oak vats. The total output of a writer or artist, or a substantial part of it. Picasso's work can be divided into periods. Give a workout to. My personal trainer works me hard. Go sour or spoil. The wine worked. Activity directed toward making or doing something. She checked several points needing further work. Arrive at a certain condition through repeated motion. The stitches of the hem worked loose after she wore the skirt many times. Behave in a certain way when handled. This dough does not work easily. Cause to operate or function. This pilot works the controls. Exert oneself by doing mental or physical work for a purpose or out of necessity. I will work hard to improve my grades. Gratify and charm, usually in order to influence. The political candidate worked the crowds. Move in an agitated manner. His fingers worked with tension. Move into or onto. Work the raisins into the dough. Operate in a certain place, area, or specialty. She works the nightclubs. Operate in or through. Physics. A manifestation of energy. The transfer of energy from one physical system to another expressed as the product of a force and the distance through which it moves a body in the direction of that force. Work equals force times distance. Proceed towards a goal or along a path or through an activity. Work your way through every problem or task. Provoke or excite. The rock musician worked the crowd of young girls into a frenzy. Act as an informer. She had informed on her own parents for years. Give character or essence to. The principles that inform modern teaching. Impart knowledge of some fact, state of affairs, or event to. I informed him of his rights. A volunteer worker in a hospital. Member of a vigilance committee. Member of a vigilance committee. A volunteer who records, usually by telephone, contributions pledged in a fund drive. The military forces of a nation. The military forces of a nation. The military forces of a nation. Their military is the largest in the region. Associated with or performed by members of the armed services as contrasted with civilians. Military police. Characteristic of or associated with soldiers or the military. Military uniforms. Of or relating to the study of the principles of warfare. Military law. The military forces of a nation. The military machine is the same one we faced in 1991, but now it is weaker. The military forces of a nation.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.